Welcome to Bed Crime Stories podcast. I'm your host, T. If you like all things true crime, if you like it delivered in a peaceful, tranquil manner, if you like it clear and concise without drama, then I highly recommend you subscribe. And if you like what you hear, please smash the like button. It's a free way you can help. And now, without further ado, let's dig in. Hello, my true crime besties. I do hope you're having a great day, great afternoon, great evening, wherever you are. Sending you love and hugs. Get your popcorn and cocktails because the matriarch of the infamous Adelson family, Donna Adelson, will soon be headed to trial starting on September 17th. This trial has been a long time coming. This cool as a cucumber grandmother is accused of conspiring with her son, Charlie Adelson, of masterminding the murder-for-hire plot that left her son-in-law, law professor Dan Markel, dead in July of 2014. An FSU law professor and father to two little boys, Dan Markel was embroiled in a bitter divorce with his ex-wife, Wendy Adelson, when he was cornered by hired guns in his garage in Tallahassee, Florida. Danny suffered massive head trauma and he passed away later that day. The hired guns were Sigfredo Garcia and Luis Rivera. Rivera was a Latin King gang member and Garcia was his childhood friend. It would take years for investigators to figure out how Rivera and Garcia were connected to the Adelson family. It turned out Garcia's baby mama, Katherine Magbanua, was dating Dan Markel's brother-in-law, periodontist Charlie Adelson. As they say at Disneyland, it's a small, small world. It turned out that Charlie Adelson hired Rivera and Garcia through Magbanua to do in Dan Markel. What ensued were 4 trials in which Rivera, Garcia, Magbanua, and Charlie Adelson were all convicted for their roles in Dan Markel's brutal death. Charlie Adelson is serving a life sentence now for his participation in the plot. Boo hoo hoo hoo, boo hoo. Sorry, Charlie, crime doesn't pay. Didn't your mama teach you right from wrong? Apparently not. But prosecutors feel that all those involved in the crime are not yet behind bars. Many believe the entire Adelson family, including matriarch Donna, patriarch Harvey, and Dan Markel's ex-wife Wendy, were also involved, allegedly. In fact, Charlie's mother, Donna Adelson, has been in custody since last year, when 1 week after Charlie was convicted, she tried to flee to Vietnam with Harvey on a one-way ticket. It would appear that Donna saw the writing on the wall and decided to flee before being arrested, but she was just a little too late. Donna was arrested inside the Miami International Airport as she was about to board the plane on that one-way ticket to Nam. So now, instead of the Hanoi Hilton, she sits in a jail in Florida, watching her coiffed hair turn gray. Talk about looking guilty and being aware of your own involvement in a crime, allegedly. Donna hasn't been convicted yet, and she does deserve a fair trial. Prosecutors actually believe Donna was the mastermind of the plot against Markel. The motive? To enable her daughter, Wendy, to move to South Florida with her and Dan's 2 sons after their divorce. Wendy had pretty much poisoned her family's view of Dan Markel, and the Adelsons came to loathe Dan. Both Wendy and Dan had worked as professors at Florida State University in Tallahassee, and when Dan Markel dug in his heels and refused to give Wendy permission to move with their boys to South Florida so that she could be near her parents, Donna and Harvey, and her brother Charlie. Charlie, along with his mother, allegedly came up with a permanent solution: hire thugs to unalive Danny Markel. The Adelsons were also concerned that Wendy would possibly lose her job and her law license as a result of Dan Markel's allegations against her, namely that Wendy failed to disclose all of her financial affairs during the divorce. To the Adelsons, the stakes were extremely high. And as we know, the evil plot came together. Dan Markel was unalived in cold blood, and Wendy Adelson promptly moved to Miami with her and Danny's sons. And Wendy has been living in Miami all this time. And so far, she's managed to elude the strong arm of the law. Wendy insists that she was not involved in the crime, didn't know anything about it. And if you believe that, I've got some swampland in Tallahassee, Florida that you might be interested in purchasing. And for now, prosecutors either believe her or they simply don't have enough evidence to take her to trial. It's also possible that they don't want Dan Markel's children to suffer yet another loss by having their mother taken away from them, whether she deserves it or not. But enough about Wendy. Let's talk about her mom, Donna. Here's what we know so far about Donna's upcoming trial. Her son, Charlie, has been moved from South Dakota back to Florida in preparation for the trial. Charlie is expected to testify on behalf of the state. Now, he hasn't been able to communicate directly with her since her arrest. However, I would imagine Charlie gets news of his mom from his dad, Harvey. Harvey is still living a free life like Wendy. So is Donna telling Charlie what to say at her trial via Harvey? Maybe. I'm sure Harvey knows the strategy of Donna's legal team, so he can convey that maybe to Charlie. And it's unclear if Harvey, who's probably still living La Dolce Vita in the high-rise luxury condo in Miami, whether he and Wendy hang out or if he's alone there and lonely. So what will Charlie say when he testifies? Will he throw Mama under the train out of bitterness at how his life has turned out since he took all the manipulation by her and went ahead and plotted this crime, losing his Lux home, his Ferrari, his boat, his girlfriend, his career as a successful periodontist, although I've heard not a very good one, his chance to hang out with his baby boy, Roman. Basically, he's lost everything. Or will he stick to his false narrative, the one he used during his own trial, to claim that he was the victim of a blackmail plot? Take a listen.
Making a joke that buying her a TV was cheaper than hiring a hitman. Something to that effect.
Yeah, it was. Want me to say what?
Yeah, tell me what the joke was.
What happened was, when I gave her the TV set as a divorce present, this is the stupidest thing I ever said in my life. And I said, I was going to get you a hitman, but the TV set was a lot cheaper, so I went with the TV set instead. And I said it as a complete joke, and it was stupid.
Did you ever become aware of efforts by your family, including yourself,
Yes.
to offer Professor Markel money to allow your sister to relocate?
I did, yes.
And do you recall who came up with that idea?
It was my parents.
What were the terms of the offer? How much was it for?
The offer was for $1 million.
Do you ever talk with Katherine Magbanua? And we'll talk a lot about her in a little bit. But did you ever talk with Katherine Magbanua about that $1 million offer?
Yes, I did.
And what do you remember telling her?
The same thing I told everybody else. It came up when she was asking me about doesn't your sister want to move back home? And I said, yeah. I said, we tried everything we could. We even offered Danny $1 million to move back to South Florida.
That day, now we're on the 18th, July 18th. Did you speak with your sister that morning?
I did.
What do you recall talking to your sister about?
I called her in the car on the way up to work, and I ended up talking to her. She's told me that she was having the TV set repaired. I thought she had told me that Lincoln had thrown something at it and broke the screen. So she was getting a TV fixed.
At some point in time, you hear from your mom. How do you hear from your mom?
I had a missed call from her, 1 or 2 missed calls, and then she texted me, call us ASAP. She told me that Wendy had just called her and that Dan had been shot and that it was serious and that her and my dad are going to be going up to Tallahassee to be with her.
Did you speak with Katherine Magbanua?
Yes, I did.
And what did you tell Katherine Magbanua on your ride home?
I told her that my brother-in-law, my ex-brother-in-law had been shot and it's serious. And I just told her I really didn't feel like going out tonight and just hang out at the house if you still want to come over. She said, no, I'm still coming to see you.
What happened when she arrived?
When she arrived to my house, she came in through the garage, entered into the kitchen from the side door like she always does. And she just looked panicked and upset. I mean, she walked straight in and gives me this big, tight hug and asked me, like, are you okay? And I said, yeah, just a horrible day. But she looked more upset than I've ever seen her. I'm like, are you okay? She's like, no, I'm not. I'm like, what's wrong? She's like, just come sit down. I need to talk to you.
Where did you go?
We walked into the living room.
And what happened when you got to the living room?
We sat down on the couch, and she started to talk to me. And she said, listen, this is all my fault. But I had no idea anything was going to happen, but this is totally my fault. I spoke in too much detail about your family's personal problems, about your sister, Dan Markel, and the $1 million offer.
What did you say?
I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's like, my friend killed Dan, and he wants to be paid $1/3 of $1 million. And I'm like, Katie, I'm not going to be part of it. Like, I'm not going to be part of paying for a murder. This is insane. And she's like, look, if you don't pay in 48 hours, they will kill you.
From what I'm hearing from legal minds on YouTube, many believe Charlie will stick to his double extortion theory, but he's probably going to try and say that his mother, Donna, simply was doing what he told her to, and that she knew scant little of what was actually going on. But Donna is going to have to explain some things she's been recorded saying on the phone. There's also her attempt to flee the country to Vietnam on that one-way ticket to a non-extradition country, which definitely makes it look like she was fearful of getting both arrested and convicted for her alleged role in Dan Markel's death. There are also all the checks that Donna signed for payments to Katherine Magbanua for basically no work done at the Adelson Dental Institute. Magbanua was compensated by the Adelsons for her role as the go-between between Charlie Adelson and her baby daddy, Sigfredo Garcia, and again it was Donna who signed the checks. And then there's also the bump, which is when the FBI pulled a fast one on Donna and had an undercover FBI agent approach her on a Miami street, pretending to be related to Luis Rivera and trying to shake her and Harvey down for more money. The bump was designed to get the Adelsons talking once again about Dan Markel's death. It occurred on April 19th of 2016, so it had been 2 years since Dan's death, and law enforcement needed more evidence of the Adelsons' involvement or alleged involvement to arrest Charlie and possibly other Adelsons as well.
Adelson? How you doing? Just want to give you this. Listen, don't be scared. Listen, just want to let you know that we know that your family has been taking care of Katie and her friend Hugo for quite some time after your problem up north that was resolved. And I want to let you know that my brother, he's incarcerated. He helped your family with this problem you guys had up north. And we want to make sure that he's going through some rough times. We want to make sure that you take care of
And the bump kind of worked because Donna did implicate herself in her phone call to Charlie after the bump. When Charlie kept pressing her to say what happened, she said it probably involves the two of us, you and me. Now, Charlie's conviction doesn't bode well for Donna, no matter how hard her defense attorneys try to dress her up as a sweet, innocent, soft-spoken, cookie-baking mother and grandmother. It's gonna be hard to convince a jury of all of this. There's the video of her being arrested, where she tried to prevent the authorities from taking her cell phone, and also the video of her during her first court appearance, where she was piping off so much that the judge had to call her out and tell her to knock it off.
Hi, how are you? You have an ID?
My husband's almost 80 years old. He can't come with me?
Please, can I go? No, you can't join me there. Oh, don't do this, please.
Please.
Oh,
Someone's got to help him get home. It's terrible. You can't do this. This is
Okay with you? Please, give me that can for some respect. Please.
Do you have anything in your pocket?
No.
Do you have anything of value in you?
No, I
Unless you have a necklace on you.
One of them?
You can take it off. I'll take it.
Yeah, take it off.
And the earrings.
And the earrings, the ring, take everything. You give it to your husband. Because once you arrive at county jail, they're gonna make you remove all that.
Can I call my attorney?
You can get the passport already.
Where am I going?
Just hold the company finger.
Where am I going?
You're going to the Dade County Jail.
They county jail.
You're making a mistake. It's no mistake. It's two mistakes.
So the next place is what? The warrant? What did you say? What did you say the next place was?
Well, what happened is the warrant that they have from you is from out of Leon County.
When did they issue a warrant?
So what happened is we have to take you to our warrant school for that information to get entered, and then after that gets entered, before we can take you to the jail, to the local jail.
Okay, because I didn't know there was a warrant. How would I know that?
Well, we wouldn't have been able to take you if there wasn't something in place.
So aren't they supposed to inform? Aren't they supposed to inform me if there was a warrant?
Well, I don't know the details.
Yeah, I don't either.
They had a warrant. The gentleman that you met earlier in the plainclothes.
Yes.
Right. They were supposed to inform you of whatever, and then because it's a county warrant, that's how we became involved.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
I also had a phone call with her son, who's obviously in jail here. 25-minute phone call. I personally listened to it. She very clearly spoke about a plan for herself using sleeping pills.
One moment, Miss Adelson. Please keep your comments to yourself. Let your lawyer argue on your behalf.
Wouldn't it be interesting if Charlie decided to drag his mother down with him? In some ways, you could argue that Charlie is a victim of his mother because it was her job to teach him right from wrong, and we know that she was pushing Charlie to find a way to deal with the Dan Markel problem. I've wondered if Charlie, as he sits in his prison cell, reflects on the bad decisions that he made that landed him behind bars, and on the pressure that his mother placed on him to handle Wendy's problem with her ex-husband. We've seen the email exchanges before Dan's death in which Donna can be seen trying to push Wendy to coerce Dan Markel into agreeing to let her move with their two sons 7 hours away from him, to South Florida. Donna's ideas for this show how low she was willing to go to torment Dan Markel, who was very observant in his Jewish faith. Donna even told Wendy to offer Dan $1 million in exchange for him allowing the move to Miami. To many, it seems as if Wendy filled her family's head with stories of how awful Dan was, and Donna is the one who became obsessed with finding a way to get rid of Dan Markel. If you're new to this case and you want to know all the details, go back to my playlist for the Charlie Adelson case. I did a ton of videos and I dug really deep to unearth every little detail. You can bet that I'm going to be watching this trial and sharing my takes with you each day when court adjourns. Until the next time on Bed Crime Stories, if you enjoyed this, please smash that like button and consider a membership to the channel. See you next time.